So we're just giving it seconds to get the YouTube views. Well, hello and a very warm welcome from cold Denmark to basically 2, maybe 3 minutes to get the last participants coming in. We just heard that some had a little bit of an issue. So just giving it 1 to 2 minutes. So please find a cup of coffee. Trådløs net på i den der. No, we have full coverage on 4G. Should we do this? I think we are. How does it look on your side, Rasmus? Cool. Yeah. Well, I think that was it. And thank you again, all of you, very much for joining. And the reason, let's start by that, the reason why we have 2 different communication channels is actually, again, our urge to challenge the status quo. But the last time we did a YouTube streaming session, some of the issues were that the screen was not that clear during the stream. So we actually today added GoToMeeting. You will find that right underneath the live stream in YouTube, and you're more than welcome to join. In this way, you will also be able to join the discussion and see the slides. And of course, everything again today will be recorded, so you can revisit and share with all of your friends and networks and family across the world. Today we are streaming live from the Digital Living Research Commons at Aarhus University. And first of all, on behalf of the IoT Week team, I would like to say so extremely huge thank you so much. Actually, why we are here, the whole reason that this is it. But actually what we are, last year, we have been working on IoT Week, Monday till Friday in week 20 and 20th. So we will have the public exhibition. And why a public expo during an IoT week? For 2 reasons. First is our not for the technical and strategic business sessions inside. That is for the visitors actually buying a ticket and joining the event. But many of you, I bet, have experienced the same as I have, visiting a conference and actually passing by on the street and not even noticing that it was there. And that's the beauty of IoT, is that it actually affects all of us. The sensor itself doesn't care if it's in a classroom, if it's in a stable full of pigs, or if it's a square in a city. It gathers the data that we set out to gather. And that's the whole idea with the Public Expo, is actually with our partners to create an area where we would welcome everyone from our future change agents, namely the kids from around Asians and so forth, university cases and demos and everything, where we expect some of the companies and public organizations. Point of the Public Expo, the actually being able to show the rest of the marathon, where we're actually showing the to meet a humanizers or anything. So that would just be you. I leave all of that up to Eva, who has been handling together with Gail our design thinking of the entire area. But with that welcome, I think the 3 main days you need to reserve and share to all of your network is Tuesday the 18th, Wednesday the 19th, and Thursday the 20th of June here in Aarhus. With that said, I think I would like to pass the microphone on to Martin Brynskov, who can tell you a little bit more about our thoughts and joining the entire reaching out to the participants. Martin, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hello, guys. Just to show my face, I'll turn it off again just for the bandwidth. Thank you very much, Carsten, well, for the introduction, and certainly also for setting up the whole IoT week here. My name is Martin Brynskov. I'm a professor at the Aarhus University at the Center for Digital Transformation of Cities and Communities, and also very much involved in how IoT, as you say, Carsten, really affects all of us. So what we wanted to bring here to the IoT week was actually to show on the ground, not just for those who are paying through the nose to get into the conference, but also to the public, to the children, to the families, to the politicians, to everyone. What does it look like? IoT, what is it? We also have other colleagues here that are supporting the efforts to create a really nice frame, not just for the audience, but also for you, the exhibitors who have things to show. So the joint ambition here is now to create a wonderful experience for both sides, to really give something concrete to everyone to bring back to your companies, to your communities, to your organizations, so that we can shape a nice path forward. So I think I'll give the word to you, Eva, just to walk us through some of the vision around the master planning.
Okay, thank you, Martin. I'm here on behalf of the Aarhus University. We team up together with the GEL architects and Jeff Prism, who will be presenting here today. So let's start with the venue. This is the picture you all who had chance to see the templates and fill them in, you saw this picture. So it's just briefly telling you where is the area. So the expo area is between the museum and the Ridderhuset, and we will be areas of B, C, and D for the outer part of the expo, and the areas of D1 and F are designated for the conference that's taking place in the Musikhuset. Next slide, please. So here are the basic themes of the expo. And then on the next slide, we can see that almost 300 of square meters of the outdoors exhibitors are up. And then on the right picture, you can see what. And after seeing all those, we came up with the master plan idea, which is basically the explanation of what the IoT means. 3 plazas, but all of them having a different way of feeling when you stand there inside. And one of the ideas is to have merging themes, or on the other way, we can do, like, let's say, thematic plazas that are more staying within several topics. On the next slide. Yeah, this is the way how, in the first initial broad idea, we can transfer the idea from a scheme to a more like planned scheme on the place for the expo. So this is the idea for the expo of the merging themes. You can see the 3 plazas, or public space or shared space for the booth, where they can present their ideas, presentations, and demos in a gray color. And then the other colors are the exhibitors, and with to create the master planning. This is to the smart cities area, and then also all the participants about the data and 5G templates. But the next step will be to get the further information from those exhibitors who haven't filled in the templates yet, or who haven't filled everything in the templates. Because, for example, the square meters, or the topics, or what the presentation will be about. Also has to do something with the needed components, like electricity or other supplies. And when Carsten was presenting the program, that the time before noon will be designated for schools and excursions, and afternoon will be the program for the visitors from the city and from the conference. If you have any desired presentation plans and schedules, this will be the next part of the master planning as well, to see like which area will be selected for the presentations. And after that, we'll provide specification for the particular components, from the ideas to the master plan concept to the, let's say, more detailed planning. And I think that's all. So,
fantastic.
Thank you for joining today.
Thank you very much, Eva. Carsten, do you want to add some comments? Maybe we can have the next steps stay on the screen, just because probably questions and so on will be related. We will take a couple of question and answers now, both here from the GoTo channel and the YouTube channel. But Carsten, do you have some remarks now?
Yeah, basically, and again, thank you so much for the presentation, Eva. I've been talking to a lot of the partners that both filled out and are maybe still a bit curious in what is this going to be like, because we're not sure if we fit. So I think this will help a lot to see that this is actually something that we can include everyone in. Two things. I would like to mention that we have rented the 2 stages at a local theater called Boa Boa. So it's on the other side of the place, the city square, which means that if you, for example, would like to do a presentation indoor or anything, that would also be an option. And the second thing I would like to add is that the whole idea behind this expo is actually the same as the status quo we are challenging for the IoT week. I don't know how many of you have participated in IoT weeks before, but it is the top researchers, scientists, and developers from all around the world. But for the first time ever this year, we are actually also inviting under one umbrella what we call the strategic decision makers. So that's why this is such a fantastic opportunity to actually enlighten them and show them how applied IoT actually creates value and how they can rethink the way they do business, nevertheless, if it's a private company or if it's a public organization. But I think with that said, I think we should open the Q&A. Martin, you were so kind to offer. You're sitting and can see questions asked. So back to you, Martin.
Yeah, so sure. Just to explain the format here. So we will take some questions and we will answer Carsten, Eva, and myself as best as. A question here from the companies who are involved in the synchronicity large-scale pilot.
Further back one slide. But if you want to participate in the IoT Summit, then you would need to buy a ticket. And we have right now early bird open running until the end of March, where you buy tickets for a reduced price. You're also very welcome to contact me or my team if you have special needs or anything. But being able to offer everyone to join the IoT week itself for free is not an option. What we are offering is that if you come with products and you prove it and don't promise in the public expo, this is where we can actually offer you. We have covered the expenses for the participants to join here. I hope that answered the question, but sort of 2 things, an open session and a more closed, or at least one where you have to buy to enter. Thank you, Martin.
And let me say also, I happen to be the coordinator of Synchronicity, and of course I can give you a more detailed answer for that question. So you hear.
May I add a comment, Martin? Are both doing something inside and outside. So, for example, I think it's next week we go live and announce that we actually, and this is the first time ever it hits, but it's a closed session and not online, sort of. But we're actually announcing a radio IoT week. So on the public expo, we will have a radio week.
I think this is again a very synchronicity-specific question. I don't think for the public expo part there's a limit. I mean, it depends on your level of engagement. So access to the event, but of course the early bird ends by the end of March. I hope that clarifies.
We actually closed down the Tivoli, and for that, the participants of the public expo can also come into the Tivoli without having to pay anything. But if you're joining the gala dinner, that is also one of the ticket options in the public registration page. More questions?
So I would like to also invite questions on the next steps. So it's clear that Eva and Jeff have been working from what they had. So thank you for supplying initial descriptions of your ideas of what you can present. What will happen in the next round is that we will ensure, or we will encourage you to send any missing information. So that's step 2. Very concrete feedback on what are the timings. I mean, do you have something that would be relevant for the school kids? Do you want to show something every day at 1 that lasts for 10 minutes, or is it like for 2 hours? Or, I mean, we need to understand much better and in detail the flow. So, I don't know, maybe Eva, you can say just a few words about what are the key things that you think would be good to know in the next round from the exhibitors?
Well, I think, as I said, the presentations and types of presentation and presenting time, that's great. And also like special needs or supplies like electricity or whatever is needed for the booth. If I mean, that's maybe the next step for us, but as incorporated in the planning, we should ensure that the exhibitors have as many of these supplies as they would like to have. I mean, count for the electricity and maybe other stuff.
Maybe
I think
hello. No, go ahead, Eva. I just want to ask something to Carsten as well, but you finish first, Eva.
Oh, sorry. I think we're just gonna make another template to fill in afterwards, if it's okay.
And information. If fees or expenses incurred depending on the usage. I mean, one thing is needing to have a table or space for a roll-up, but if you want to fill, the entire park with EV vehicles or something like that, I guess that's a different situation. Can you give an indication of what is the threshold for, when we have to talk more about production expenses?
Yes, definitely, Martin. Well, basically, what we are trying to do is actually see if we can cover everything for you. So we keep this at a minimum. As I said in the first formula you filled out online, our aim is here to let everyone participate, even if it's 25 square meters or 100, for free. The only thing that I haven't got covered is if you are bringing something that would require power from a direct feed from the power plant or whatever, and using a hell of a lot of electricity or power tools or high pressure special needs, then we will of course need to discuss that. But otherwise, we are trying to handle everything. Just yesterday afternoon, I heard that some of the partners that are actually letting their students present their IoT exams at Ridehuset during this event have managed to talk to some local sponsors. So we're looking into getting some coffee scooters, ice cream and things that will help make everything in the public expo a bit nicer. But if you have special needs and know you would require something, please let us know. And as Eva said, we will do a more detailed registration form for you to fill out when we get a bit closer to the event and you know what you're going to use the 15 times 10 meters that you have been given for. Also, I could add, you mentioned the vehicles, Martin. We know already that, for example, Segis is bringing with their partners some super cool smart farming equipment. So we have also in the budget calculated that we will have guards manning the area at night. So of course, Ridehuset will be locked down when we leave it. But we will have guards patrolling the outside during nighttime from Monday evening until Thursday evening. I hope that answered your question, Martin.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it also answered the question that Francois had in the chat. So he asked whether the items displayed in the public exhibition outside will be guarded. So just to repeat, so Carsten, what you say is that there will be guards when the public expo is closed. So that is
Yes.
after 5:30 in the afternoon and before 9 in the morning. So during the nights, Monday until Thursday afternoon, right? So it's possible to put up your stuff on Monday and then leave it in the evening guarded. And then you have to take it down by Thursday or guard it yourself, right? But actually the period in between, outside of opening hours, there are guards on duty, correct?
That is exactly correct, Martin, because we, as you expect, if you have seen the entire program for the IoT week, during Tuesday morning, we are registering around, well, any type of number between 1,000 and 1,500 people in the music hall. So tractors going back and forth might actually lower that number if they run over the participants. So we're hoping that at least for the larger things that they are being brought in during Monday afternoon and Monday evening, and hence the guards are there from Monday evening also.
Okay, very good. So, Francois, I hope that clarifies, and it seems like it. We have another question from Archimate Solutions. So that's actually a very simple one.
Thank you.
Carsten and Eva, so the colleagues that have submitted, do they get an official accept or not accept or conditional accept feedback, or is everybody accepted, or can you clarify how your thinking is about that?
Yeah.
Maybe you first, Carsten, and then you, Eva.
Yeah, again, I also had a question. Thank you for the question. I had a question similar to that last week. And basically, what did you do the last time you did this? And this has never been done before. So sorry for us also sort of feeling our way forward. But all the ones that have now filled out the online form are accepted. And the only concern I actually had was, what if we have 500 and we run out of space? But as you can see from the fantastic drawings that Eva and Jeff has made, we actually have room enough, and we even have room to grow. And we also have enough room inside Ridehuset to make sure that if suddenly some of you find out, oh my God, we applied for 25 square meters, would it be possible with 35 or whatever? Because as your own booth evolves, you find out maybe we could also do this or that. So basically, all that have applied are accepted. So you can count on that. And yeah, I think that answered the question. Yeah, you will. As we get more, as Eva also said, and I'll hand the microphone to you, Eva. But it will be more concrete, and maybe we'll do an MOU or TSC, whatever. So the worst case for us is that you don't show up. So it's equally important for us that if we schedule a room for you to do future XYZ, that we can count on you being there, because when we settle that in the next phase with Eva, we are also maybe saying that someone else can't be there. So yeah, thank you. Eva, would you like to comment?
Maybe just like I was trying to put everyone in the drawings, and if you haven't found yourself, it's just by mistake.
Fantastic.
So that also means, Eva, if I may just make that explicit, we will share these slides also to all the participants, right? So we create either a mailing list, or we will give direct information about this. I think we will certainly put we will share the proposal that you have now presented. It will of course be here in the video, but we should also share on the site, and we should do that either direct via email, since we have it from the registration, or we will wait when we do the IoT Week Public Expo program on the website. We will ensure that it's available there. I don't know if we can tell already now what will happen immediately for the sharing. Carsten, I don't know if you have any specific feedback for the colleagues here, or we wait and inform later.
We will gather all that we have in a mail and share to all the contact persons we have from the online form. And please also share the link for today's site, at least for the GoToMeeting, where we have the slides and the recording and everything. Please, please, please share. And otherwise, let us know if you are impatient and think in a couple of weeks, oh my God, we didn't hear anything. Let us know. Better safe than sorry. But we'll try to wrap everything up neat in an email so you have everything.
Good. We have 2 more questions at least, but please keep them coming. So we have a very interesting. Now we get to the interesting part, and that's close to your comment, Carsten, about tractors running over people, which will of course not happen. So Francois is asking, would we be able to fly large drones over the area? Now I don't know, Francois, if you can qualify what is a large drone. Is that the, drones can be rather large actually, like independent unmanned aerial vehicles. They can be up to very so 20 kilograms. Okay, so we get to another part of the whole planning, and that is safety. We of course have regulations to live up to. This is in the center of the city of Aarhus. We're next to City Hall. We have more than 1,000 people visiting the whole thing, as well as the public running in and out. So there will certainly be some regulations like fire and traffic and so on that will be put into the master planning. But then we will also have to assess, and probably we will need you to help us flag, like you do now, Francois, if there's something related to your demonstrator which requires extra admission or approval by authorities, or maybe even by the organizers. So, I mean, we are in the country of Denmark. We don't have any exceptions from the laws regarding drone flying. I give you the word to you in a moment, Carsten, but just to say that, Francois, in order to get anything like that off the ground next to City Hall, you would require to get a permission. And you probably also would have to have the drone, the drone driver or the pilot would have to be certified. So there are very strict rules about drones. So for each of these pilots and demonstrations, we probably need to take them case by case. But do you want to say something here, Carsten?
Yes, just a small comment, because I think you explained it very good. I think it would be fantastic with live demos, and I think, as Martin said, the drone pilot has to be certified. That's the rule here in Denmark. But we have contact with the authorities, we have contact with police and everything. And again, under the headline, prove it, don't promise, I would be extremely sad myself if I see a drone on the ground that we can't fly with. But of course, we don't want to break any laws or anything. So I think we need to take it from case to case. But we have a team here that would love to assist. So I think let's see if we can find a solution to actually have the drone flying here in Denmark, maybe on specific times or in a specific area or whatever. But that would definitely be the solution that we would be working towards as well.
Very good, Francois. Did that answer your question? I think the short answer is yes, you probably can. Well, from our side, the organizers, you can, but you would need very specific permissions, and you would need a certified, probably, I don't know if there's EU regulations on that. It's still in the making. But Denmark is very liberal, actually, compared to many other airspaces. But you still would need a licensed pilot. So I would encourage you to follow up as soon as you can to check the regulation regarding certification for drone traffic.
And we'll help with that, definitely.
Good. This is where the fun begins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, we are putting up this public expo in the city. It's right in the middle, and it's really an exhibition space which is surrounded by cultural institutions. So while we don't have residential concerns, so the residential areas are protected by the buildings surrounding this space, it is in the middle of the city. So every regulation that applies to inner city conduct applies to this space as well. And it's part of our point. We don't want to just go into an exhibition hall and say, oh, here's a PowerPoint and here's a roll-up. We want to show on the ground and on the street what is actually going on. We think that the public deserves that. Okay, do we have any comments or questions from the YouTube channel? Just asking to be sure.
No, not. I think they joined the GoToMeeting for questions also, so none at the moment. And just a small note for the drones: don't bring the autonomous drones, weapon-enabled. Just do normal drones. The worst case is a camera on them.
This is Danish humor, just to say that this is
so funny.
Comment. Don't even think that we are endorsing anything they like.
Definitely not. That was black Danish humor.
Okay, so let's see if there are any more questions. Otherwise, we will start to conclude. Any more comments or questions? While we wait for your feedback, I think what we should also propose, Carsten, is to pick out actually the main questions here and put them probably in the comments when we put the video up on the YouTube channel, just so that you don't have to watch the whole 45 minutes in order to get the answers. I think it would be good just to have the Q&A really summarized, because I think there was some really questions, so we can have like a frequently asked, 5 or 6 questions in the comments to the video. Maybe that's a good service to the audience.
Yes. We'll try to include the email. We have one more question. I can see there is still the possibility for the other projects to apply in the upcoming period. Yes, definitely there is. Yes, the answer is yes. Okay, so from Archimate, that was a clear.
Thank you so much.
And I can see, so also Mads, thank you, Mads, joining from Rambøll, the engineering company, supporting us also a little bit here on the master planning. To François, so here is the formal information about the rules for drones in Denmark. And I think Mads is a very good source for this. So being a construction engineer, I think I'm correct on that, Mads, but please correct me if I'm wrong. You have a focus actually on the rules and regulations around these things. So we're a team. We're bringing different perspectives. Some are creative, some are more like operational, some are logistical, some are safety related. We try to support you to really cater for showcasing your nice demos in the best possible way. Maybe also, Carsten, a word on expectation management. So we're not putting up the World Expo. We didn't have 3 years to plan. What we try to do is a quite honest and in many ways modest but ambitious integrated collection of the state-of-the-art of IoT for smart cities and communities. So please work with us on that expectation level. We want really to impress, I think, the audience, but we also want to be honest about what we can do until June, and we want to be honest about what is the state of the art. We don't want to be just a pure future marketing department for things that will never be. We want actually to have a conversation and inspire a dialogue with the public, including the politicians, the companies, and the families, and everyone who wants to join that conversation. This is why also the Public Expo, so while it represents all aspects of the IoT Week, it has a focus on cities and communities. Now, why is that? Well, that's because cities and communities is not a sector. Cities and communities is all of us. So while this is in Aarhus, it could have been anywhere. The future this future will come to us all on the savannah, in India, in Asia, in the US, on Times Square in New York. It will come to us all. So we want to bring this conversation into a context, but we cannot orchestrate in complete detail what will happen. And it's not going to be this, we want to have this open dialogue, which is also open in the sense opening the box on what is actually already the reality. So please work with us on getting this balance between ambition and reality conveyed also in the production. So I think we covered the questions we have now here. Carsten, do you want to say a few words before we close the session?
Just very quickly wrap up from my side as well. I think you're very right, Martin. That leveling expectations is extremely important, and we could have done an extremely fantastic World Expo that would cost millions to participate in, and we chose to go the opposite way around. So I think it was a very good and crucial point to say that you're welcome to do almost whatever you would like, and we would love to assist you in creating this playground, to inspire themselves. But we're not setting up a new Eiffel Tower or anything, at least not in this conference or this year. Otherwise, on behalf of IoT Forum, who is, of course, the official host of the IoT Week, IT Forum, where we come from, the local host, I would very much like to say thank you for all of you for joining today. I would send a really huge thank you to Aarhus University, to Gel and to Rambøll, and to the city of Aarhus as well. We can't do this without you guys. Still, even though you're better now, we look very much forward to our cooperation in creating a unique conference experience in this public expo area. So thank you from my side, and thank you, Martin.
Thank you, Carsten. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, everyone. And talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much, all, and have a fantastic, amazing afternoon. And we'll look forward to talking to you again. The sooner the better. I think we could wrap that up then.